Let's move on to the next person. This is Jerry in Gladwin. And Jerry writes in that I am on a deed with 3 other people. We have owned a cottage together for the past 20 years. One of the owners has passed away. Do the 3 of us take over his ownership interest? From Jerry in Gladwin.
Okay, so what's my standard answer?
It depends on how they're on the deed. How do they hold title? Mm-hmm.
It happens every day.
Yep.
I'll need to see the deed.
Yep.
However, there's only really 2 ways this can go because there's multiple parties. And they said they're friends, so they're not related. Most likely, that deed was drawn up as if the parties, hopefully they had an attorney draw it up, hopefully.
Sure.
But I bet you it wasn't. And if it wasn't, then they're all tenants in common.
Okay.
That's what's gonna happen. In fact, I haven't seen the deed yet. Neither, I'm sure one of the attorneys in my office has already taken care of it. But yeah, if it wasn't drafted by an attorney, most likely it's going to be tenants in common. So if there are 4 people and one of the parties die, the decedent, the person who's passed away, their interest goes to their heirs.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't go. The quarter doesn't become a third.
Right.
Third, a third, and a third.
It's not displaced over the other 3.
So the way to do that, that's called holding title jointly with rights of survivorship. And for those people who are watching, before you go out and go, well, I'll just do it this way then, because David says it's got to be joint and that's how we get to own it. Well, you better be careful because every file is different or every situation is different. If you give somebody a property interest joint with right of survivorship, you basically preclude any party to that deed from deeding off without anybody else's permission. You are stuck with the other party for the rest of your life.
Everyone has to agree. Okay.
For the rest of your life until somebody dies or until somebody agrees that they'll deed the property over. And that rarely happens without good compensation. And so we have quite a few cases in litigation. You okay?
I'm good.
Okay. We have quite a few cases in litigation where people drafted their own documents. That's called the gift that keeps on giving. And
to you, right?
And they drafted their own documents, and then they want to reverse something or change something or revoke something, and you can't. Once the deed is given, I've told you this before, I believe in another file that we had. Deeds unto themselves are contracts.
Right.
You don't need an actual grantee, the person who's receiving the deed, signed to have a contract. The minute they accept the deed, the contract has been created. So all the terms of the contract are actually all the terms of the deed create a contract.
Okay.
And it can't be broken in certain situations at all. And there's major case law that goes back almost 100 years dealing with the joint with right of survivorship interest. That basically says, if you and I own a property together, Blair, and we hold it jointly with right of survivorship, unless you agree to to sign off with me, I can't make you ever leave the property, leave your interest, or vacate your interest. We're stuck. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. So if you buy a cottage with your buddies, it could get complicated.
Right. So we need to see, the essence of this question is I need to see, and the answer is, hey, send me over the deed and we'll confirm it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.